All right, so I'm going to set up my my comment block. Put in my title, put in my script, set up a new function. Should I go bigger for y'all? How's that? All right, so I'm going to set up my function. What should I call my function? What do we want my function to do? Money. What should we do with money? Make money. Wish I could. Wish I could write a program that printed dollars, $100, printed Benjamins. You want to convert? All right, we'll convert dollars to euro. That sounds like a good thing. And what's the first thing I want to put in here to make sure that my function's working okay? Document. I could do an alert, but alerts get really irritating. So let's do a document write. Document write inside convert dollars to euros. I'll put a break in there and my semicolon. Notice the name that I gave it is a verb. It's going to do something. Functions do things. And then I'm going to be a smart programmer. At the end, I'm going to put a comment, say end of convert dollars to euros. All right, how are we going to run this function? Well, let's go down to the body. The first thing I'm going to do is add an H1. Just so I have something on the page. And then I'm going to set up another script tag. And my stop script. Anybody see that something I might have missed that's going to cause my HTML validator to be freaky? C data. Now, if I don't remember the C data, where am I going to go? Yeah, I'll probably go out to Wikipedia. Let's see. Here's C data, Wikipedia, and I can copy and paste it right out of there. This is a nice thing to memorize, but I still haven't got it memorized yet. So here's my start C data. Put it right at the bottom of my script. Now, Wikipedia is just talking about C data. I'm including it in my JavaScript, so I want to comment it out. Whoops, put it in the wrong place. How did that happen? There we go. And then I go back and get my stop C data. Close that window out. And again, put a comment on there so you have it, so the JavaScript can ignore it. And I'm going to put those both in down below too, so I don't have to worry about it. Now I have a function up here in my head. How do I run it down here in my body? And so what do I type in? Function convert dollar to euro? Just convert dollar to euro. What happens if I typed in function? I'm sorry? It thinks I'm making a new function, so it's going to get confused. Oh, and I have a problem here too. What's one of my naming conventions? Don't use plurals. So I get rid of that plural dollars, and I say convert dollar to euro. And semicolon. So this is going to call the code that I have inside this function block, which is just one line right now, but it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be hundreds of thousands of lines. Not really. So open up a new window in Firefox in case everything crashes and burns. Open up my file. And there's my H1, and there's my results for my function. And I look down here, and I see that I have all my errors and warnings are all good. So my page is valid, and it looks like my program's running okay. I like it when it does that. So every function needs a set of parentheses after it. So let's try to see what happens if we take those parentheses out. So we take that set of parentheses out. We go to the page and run it. And you can see it doesn't work. So the very first thing we do is we check our HTML down here in the bottom. We say, well, our HTML is valid. So the second thing we check is Firebug. So here's Firebug. And inside Firebug, we go to the console. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this. We drop down the console, we make sure it's enabled, and then we do a Control-R, refresh the web page. The console can't do anything until it refreshes the web page. So it says here, convert dollars to euros is not defined, so it can't find this function. And our brain goes up here and says, well, yeah, it's right here. But to JavaScript, this isn't a function because it's incomplete. So we'll go in and put those in. I don't think I saved. Do a save, do a refresh, and there's my answer. Everything's working well now. Zoom back out. And close my Firebug off. Notice the sequence that I followed when things didn't work. What's the very first thing I checked? If my HTML was valid. So that's the first thing I checked. What's the second thing I checked? I opened up Firebug and used the console to see where things were breaking. And then if everything was right in the console, what would be the third step that I'd check using Firebug? Yeah, I'd go into my JavaScript tab, set breakpoints, and step through the program. All right, everybody has it to work now? Anybody else not having it work? Okay, so maybe we can learn some more stuff here. All right, so everybody else is working, right? Anybody else stuck? So I can help you like over the break. All right, now this is all fine and dandy, but I promised you a button, didn't I? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to comment these lines out, setting up the script and the convert and the stop script. So I'm going to comment those out for now. And let's create a button. So this is straight HTML. We're going to say button. And we're going to give it an ID, BTN. We're going to call it button convert so I know what that object is. And then I'm going to give it a value. This is what's going to show up on the screen. And the value would be convert dollar to euro. On here I want to use my plural because we're talking English. So that's my value. And then here's the cool part. I can say if the user clicks on this is an event, then run that function. And that's the end of my button. And I could also stack these attributes up just like this. Just thought of my son's other app. It's called Blazon. Now, there's a lot of HTML objects that you can do things, or the user can do things with. So this is called an event, and you can click on things, you can change text, you can do lots of things. Yes? Yeah. Oh, that's a very good observation. Yeah, I used JavaScript comments in an HTML block. Come on, Pete, get that right. There we go. There. Thank you very much. So inside my script tag, I want to use JavaScript comments, but outside of it, I have to use HTML. Good catch. Yeah, even before I ran it, got all those errors. So here I have this object. So if the user clicks on it with a mouse, it's automatically going to run this JavaScript. Now I could put a couple lines here. I could even, if I wanted to, I could say alert, hi Peter. I'm just doing, and you see how to JavaScript, this is one line right here, and this is a second line, because it's looking for those semicolons. See how important those semicolons are? Now this isn't going to run until the user clicks on the button. what's going to happen is the browser is going to come into this page. It's going to read the head, say, oh, here's a function, and it's going to put it up in the head. So it's going to store it for later. It's not going to run it yet. It's just going to store it. Then it's going to come down here and say, oh, that's the end of my head. Here's my body. It's going to display an H1 that says button demo. And then it's going to display a button. It's not really going to do anything. It's just going to display it. Then that's the end of the body, and that's the end of the page. Now the rule is when you finish the page, then the browser can't change the page at all. Now later on, I'll teach you how to do this with the DOM, but for now, you can't do anything. So anything we output is going to output to a brand new page. So that's something you need to know about. And that's because we've hit this HTML, the stop HTML, so the whole page is displayed. Then the user comes back and clicks on this button, and that triggers off this function. Really? Did anybody get a regular size button? Everybody got a tiny little button. Well, let me run it and see. This is interesting. Let me go to my page. Little tiny button. Oh, it is. Tiny little button. And it doesn't run. Well, let's see what I did wrong. What's the first thing I'm going to do to figure out what I did wrong? Oh, okay. I can look at my HTML. Look what I got here. I got 2 errors. Hi is not a member of the group specified. Oh, I see what I did. Does everybody see what's happening here? First of all, notice the colors. Let me make this a little bigger. Anybody see what I'm doing wrong here? Notice onclick. Here's my start. This is my string for my onclick, and this is the value for my onclick. Where do I stop that value? Fran, you can tell us.
This is high. This is quotes high Peter, and it should have been quotes after Peter.
Yeah, see, this is that's my string right there. So what should I do to fix this, Fran? Well, no, because this is the end of my quotes here. Even if I put quotes after Peter, what's going to happen? I still got a problem here. Let me go into my source code. Yeah, instead of using a double quote in here, I have to use single quotes. Because what I was doing is I was short-circuiting. Do you see how I was short-circuiting my double quotes? That was my string right there. Now, my whole string is where I want it to be, from here to here. That's the contents of onclick. Everybody see that? And here's my single quotes is the contents for alert. So let's go back to the page and see what I've done. Ah, no errors. Yay. I hit a Control-R, by the way. I still got a small button. But my HTML is valid, so that's good. What's my next step? I could do Firebug, but you know, I think something's wrong with my HTML. So I'm going to go out to Google, and I'm going to do a search. What should I search for? What's the general thing that we're looking for? HTML. Well, I want to look for XHTML. And I see out here that there's a W3 Schools. I really like them a lot, so I'm going to go out to W3 Schools. Ah, look what they have here. They say button type, and I put a value in there. I didn't see. I have to put click me inside of a stop button. So do you see I wrote my HTML wrong? In front of everybody, too. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to say convert dollars to euros. And then I'm going to do my stop button. I'm going to get rid of that value. And I'll move this over a little bit so I can see it. Now let's try it. All right, a good button. And there's my new page up there in the corner and my alert. Now I can go back and redo my page, and I can click and do it again. Now I wanted to show you how this is really a start script and a stop script, but this is really irritating. I have this alert come up, so I'm going to delete that and just have the one item. But does everybody see how instead of having to do a script, text JavaScript, I just put it inside my quotes for onclick, and the browser knows that this is JavaScript. I don't have to tell it, oh, put on your JavaScript hat. It knows automatically to do the JavaScript. So this is kind of a shortcut. This is one of those exceptions where I've told you that we can't put JavaScript inside of HTML. Well, we're doing it right here, but the browser understands this way of doing it. So buttons are kind of nice. So in my understanding, everybody has their pages working, right? Everybody's good? All right, let's take a look at our page in Firebug. And again, let me repeat the 3 steps for troubleshooting. The very first thing you do is make sure your HTML is valid, and you figure out those errors. The second thing is you run Firebug and check your console. And then if you're still having problems, then you do Firebug and you do your stepping. So here's how to do your stepping, but I just want to show you how the code works. So I click on my script window, and I'm going to put a breakpoint down here on my, I'm going to put it up on my function. So I'm going to click here on my 13 and run it on my function, and then refresh my page. Now this is where it's loading it in the head, so I'm just going to say, yeah, go ahead and load it in the head. And I'm going to click on my blue triangle just to say, yeah, just run the darn page. So now you can see over here that I have this all in my page. I'm all ready to go. There's my page displayed, and I've gone all the way down to my HTML. So everything's just sitting there waiting for me. Now remember earlier I talked about this being an event. And in event-driven programming, basically what the computer is doing is just cycling around, waiting. It's waiting for something to happen here. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for the user to decide when to click or to leave. Either click or leave. So watch, as soon as the user finds, now the program's saying, okay, I'm ready, I'm going, let's go, come on. Finally, when the user clicks on the button, oh, it didn't stop on me. Wow, it just jumped to the page. Let me try a breakpoint here. Do a refresh. Oh, I got to go back to my right page. Do a refresh. Click on my button. There it stopped for me. So now it's going to do a document write and build my web page. So I'm going to step over that. And there's my page. And if I go view page source, I should be able to see my page. See, there's nothing on my page. It just did a document write. You can see this is somewhat of a cheesy way to do things because we want this to go on the same page. But to do that, we'll use the DOM functions that I'll teach you about in the future. But for right now, all you have to do is do a new page. Now, did you notice, if we look at the code, did I have anything to do with converting dollars to euros? Did I worry about that? The very first thing I did was got my page to work with my script down here in the body, right? After I got that, then what did I do? I commented that out and I went to my onclick, did my event handling, and got my event handling. And now that I have all my structure laid in place, now I can go in and put the business rules in here and convert my dollars to euros. Now, where am I going to find that information? Online. Let's go out to Miss Google. And I'm going to, if I just say convert dollars to euros, I'll get a really cool page that'll do it for me. So I'm going to ask for the formula, convert dollars to, and there it is right there for me, waiting for me.
Hi, I'm Nathan Pennington from sellthemoney.com.
And here's my formula that I can use. I think he has it right in here. Keep in mind that the euro and the dollar are constantly changing, so you know you'd have to write a pretty sophisticated program to adjust to the daily changes. So you would use that formula and put it in your code because now you have all the structure written out. So I would comment this out and put in my formula and output my results.